name's Kyle Maxwell. I'm from Berlin, Maryland. I'm 22 years old, entrepreneur, CEO of Heart of Music Entertainment. It's a little, not little, but we're a growing record label in the DMV area, managing artists, working with their brands, stuff like that. Also running an agency. Both companies, just keep in mind, not like huge, not like we're not even in the millions or hundreds of thousands. We're not even in that realm yet. We're just two emerging companies, and the other one is Vivo Media Group, or some agency, social media agency. And so running both of those right now. Just not too much, man. Just a young 22-year-old. Just trying to be ambitious, trying to spread a good message to the people that working hard and just being patient. I'm really trying to be the voice for them, because a lot of people think that at 22 years old, if you're not a millionaire, your fucking life is over. And I'm just trying to prove that to be wrong.
Sure, absolutely. And I think we are both on the same page as far as, what our ambitions are and what our work ethic is,
Yeah.
And, somebody can be $1 million, a millionaire, but, that may come from inheritance. That may come from, who you went to school with and who their daddy is. What we're doing is building original content up from the ground and creating something uncopyrighted. We're the modern day inventors of our own media.
Yeah.
And media for other people as well. And to speak upon, what I'm trying to do with the studio here is right down the alley of what you're trying to do, right? And where I kind of pick up is the more production side. So what would you say is your production team? Are you handling, a lot of your video editing and shooting yourself? Or do you have a team around you? Like, talk a little bit about that.
Well, for me, so I have my brand, and
yeah,
well, like 99% of people, like, my brand is not the business. Like, those two things are very separate.
Yeah.
For everything that Khendriix does, like my brand, that's all me. Like the videos, the stuff on Instagram, that's all me. So I'm making my own videos, I'm making my own content. But as far as Heart of Music, I do have A&Rs and people that help me out with promoting music around my area. As far as the agency, the other thing that I told you about, I have a small, very small team for that. So those two things are different. But as far as everything Khendriix does, not like Kyle Maxwell, that's all me.
Dope. So what would you say is your initial inspiration getting into the music business? Because I know for a lot of people, whether or not they're artists or DJs, what interests you about the business side of the music business?
Well, when it started all the way back in 2017, I was just at a point where it was a crazy story. I don't know how long we have, but
we've got, an hour.
An hour, okay.
Yeah.
Well, basically, started way back in 2017. Where do I even begin? Like, my life was a complete mess before that, and how it all just fucking started. Because I've always been in music, not taking it seriously.
Yeah.
But I've always been musically inclined. But it wasn't until almost 4 years ago that I started taking it very seriously. And basically, I'm not even gonna go into the whole story because I have to tell the whole entire thing. I just don't think.
Well, so to be honest, that's the opportunity here. And if you don't want to go into so much detail, we can obviously. This isn't the last time. I would like to have you on. That what's nice about this podcast structure is that it's pretty open form. That it's not a traditional interview. I obviously speak and, I do ask some questions. And what's difficult is since, we're not actually in person, it's not like I can say, oh, hey, I know you from so-and-so. How did you meet so-and-so? And then that's how conversations get made. But to be completely honest, the longer the podcast, the better. because as far as
You're right.
like watch time and minutes and different things, but I still want to warm me up a little bit. So, we can talk about other things, before we get super deep with it. Do you have any questions for me? Because I know you
Well,
recognized
yeah,
me through
I want
Yalee, correct? What's up? Yeah,
I want
can
to
you?
know how long it was. 'Cause I didn't want to like ramble on about the whole story and
No,
then like.
like that's exactly what I want. Like
Okay, cool.
that's the true emotional connection that your audience is gonna
Hell
get
yeah,
from this content.
hell yeah. I tell it all the time, but I was just trying to, I was just giving a disclaimer. Like, this story is long.
Sure.
It's long, but
No, I'm interested.
yeah. So I'm gonna take you back to 2016. Like
Okay.
the Khendriix that you're talking to right now is a completely, like, my friend is in here right with me right now. Like the Khendriix you're talking to right now in 2020 was a completely different human being in 2016.
All right.
Like completely. Like I just want to let everyone know that's gonna listen to this. I was a idiot, like a moron in 2016, like a complete moron. My whole entire, I had like in my brain, it was like the mind of like a juvenile, like delinquent, like person that just gets into anything with no ambition, no purpose, no like direction, no nothing. Like I was just, and I don't want to say I was like, oh, the typical kid that was just just young and crazy. Like it was worse than that. It was way worse. And I was involved with a lot of bad things. And I wasn't like breaking the law. I wasn't like getting arrested and shit. But I was just a very like I was just completely not like how I am right now. And I just want to make that known.
Sure.
And that's like that's like the tenor of the whole entire thing.
Yeah.
Because everything I get now, like the press and all this stuff is like, let me just take you back 4 years ago. Like this shit didn't. I was not always like, I wasn't like born this like, and I don't even think I'm shit now. But I just want everyone to know that for in 2016, this was not it. Like I was just a, I won't say a bad person. I was a bad person. And during this time when I went to school, I was in college. And also, I'll take you back to college because this is where it all happened. So I went to Salisbury University. That's not a huge university like in Maryland. It's like a one step above a community college. Salisbury University. Went there for semester, I think, and I just seen how the whole college. I don't know if you went to.
I think the call dropped, guys.
Hello?
Drop?
Hey, is that me? Is that me that's messing up?
I don't know. It happens. The calls drop. It's all good. I'm able to stop the recording in GarageBand and just cut off a few seconds and then call you back. It's no problem.
Okay. So just pick up where I left off.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're in college.
Oh yeah, I was in college back in 2016. So this is where I'm at in the story.
Yeah.
I'll just start it there just for time's sake.
Yeah, you're good.
So the first semester, this is when like things just started because I was in school. I don't even know why I went. I was majoring in music technology, and just the whole campus life. Did you go to school by any chance?
Yeah, I went to school for business management. That's where I met my partner in college.
Oh, wow.
Beats was a marketing class.
Cool. Yeah, but I just the whole school thing, that wasn't for me, and I wasn't eating. I wasn't. I was unhappy, so I dropped out of that. But there was a kid, and that I now sort of like detest this human being now. But there was a guy on campus, and he had like his own quote unquote label, and he was doing his music stuff, and he was having parties, and he was doing a whole lot of things, and I kind of always like seen how the attention that this man had. Like,
how he moved.
Yeah, and I thought that was my interpretation of what I wanted to do. Back in 2016, I want you to remember. I want you to hold on to this. If people are listening to this, that's what I wanted. This guy had, he had the fucking women, he had the fucking money, he had he was the big man on campus. I think that was him. And he had his little label, and he had his things, and we were kind of cool. We weren't that cool, but I was I was kind of in his not his circle. But I would, talk to him, and I would be trying to get on with him, and I would be trying to, work with him. So that was how I started, fantasizing over having a music type of business type of thing. Yeah. But after that semester ended, I dropped out. I didn't really officially drop out. I just never went back. But I left school, and at this time, at this time, my brother and my girlfriend, both of those people in my life, and I don't know what the hell happened, but this was when me and my brother were on terrible terms.
Yeah.
So me and my blood human being not on good terms, and this is when me and my girl, we broke up for a long time. Not a long time, but yeah, we were done.
Yeah.
So I'm coming out of school, just lost my girlfriend, and my brother is fucking pissed at me for God knows why. I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Just everything was just bad. I'm dropped out of school, literally nobody, and it's just me. And that summer of 2016 was just the complete worst. It was just terrible. I was hanging around bad people. I was stealing. I literally remember waking up and calling one of my friends, and it was 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, and we literally got together. He came to my house, and we literally made a plan. We literally had a sheet of paper. We literally had a spots that we would go steal shit from, literally.
That's interesting.
In the morning,
little behind the scenes.
Yeah. Really had we're gonna hit this place at 10, and we're gonna hit this place, and we're gonna hit this place. So we were literally
let's sit down tonight and make some evidence.
yeah. Hope I'm not incriminating myself on this podcast, but this is shit that went down.
Yeah.
And that was the tone of the whole summer. And
demon time.
Yeah, I was on some demon time. Oh. So now we're gonna get into the day that changed my fucking life. Are you ready?
All right.
This is the day that changed everything. So I'll keep my friend anonymous just for the sake of this podcast.
Sure.
So me and my friend, we were sitting outside of 7-Eleven. This was midsummer. Whole great productive day of stealing and just being a tyrant. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
You have those days. And
hot boy summer, right?
Yeah, hot boy summer. So it was we were outside of 7-Eleven, and it was had to be 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. Being real productive. And we see some dude standing outside of the store, and he's smoking a cigarette. And keep in mind, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and some grown man is standing outside of 7-Eleven, and I'm not trying to racially profile him, but let's just say that he didn't look like he was, he was doing anything, good.
Sure.
Yeah, so
he was a fellow evidence creator.
Yeah, yeah, he was just. You could just tell he just in the moment, and he just didn't give two fucks. Yeah. So me and my friend are looking at him, and we're kind of laughing at him oh shit, he looks like a fucking loser. He's just he's not doing shit, and this is where this is the moment that just fucking switched everything. I don't know what or how or why. This is the moment that switched everything. So I look at him, and I tell my friend, I'm you're gonna end up just like him. And he's we're just going back and forth. But they're nah. He's nah, you going. He's oh, you're fucking, you're crazy. You're talking dumb and stuff like that. And I was bro, you're gonna end up just like him. And then this is the thing that he fucking said that changed everything. And he was how am I gonna end up like him? You're doing the same thing I'm doing.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. He said something, and I failed to say this right. But I was I think my friend said, the way I was the way you living, and he was well, you're doing the same exact thing. But basically, the end of the story was he pretty much said that we're doing the same exact thing.
Yeah.
And so my fucking life flashed before my eyes. I was
wow.
Shit.
And that's more of a positive like
Yeah.
enlightenment than, let's say, getting arrested and then ruining your life. Then that's how you made the,
Right. I'm glad that.
like before shit hit the fan,
Yeah.
you avoided that, and had
Right.
a positive negative role model,
Yeah.
that it's important to learn 1,000 ways how not to do something. And I think that's what really comes down to us as entrepreneurs, is that, like your post said, that you've got to fall in love with failure. You've got to
Yeah.
fall in love, because at the end of the day, like, if you're not taking anything out of those experiences, what have you really done in your life?
Yeah. Totally.
And
100%.
so that's very interesting.
So that was
And then
like
how did that push you into music? Because you obviously had the background of going to school and dealing with,
yeah.
the school, and then you had this enlightenment, and then where does that take you?
So after those words he said, you're doing the same thing. The fucking light bulb went off in my head, and I seen a guy outside the store, and I was like, shit, because we all, when we're that age, I was 18 at the time. Like we all think that we're the shit,
Yeah.
and we all think that we're somebody. But it was that moment when I realized that, oh shit, like that guy smoking a cigarette outside the store, that's gonna be fucking me.
Yeah.
If I continue living like this and hanging out with people like this. Like that's gonna be me. Just some old guy smoking a cigarette outside of 7-Eleven. Like that's not. I mean, I'm not sure who's listening to this podcast, but I'm pretty sure that that's not the image that we all want to be like in the future.
Sure.
So that was the day that totally switched everything, and it wasn't too far after that since I stopped hanging out all day just doing shit. I think I hung out with that guy like at least like 2 or maybe 3 more times after that. But the whole entire the energy switched. Like something just went off in my brain, and that whole life that shit got really cut off. I cut off a lot of people. I stopped hanging with. Like I have a whole new like friend group, and like it's crazy. So I got back. I somehow miraculously fixed the relationship between me and my brother. We got back on good terms, and this is when I got back with my girl at this time. So now, I have a new mindset now. I'm back with, my brother. We're back on good terms, and I got my girl back now. So I'm feeling good. I have a lot of momentum at this point. Yeah. And keep in mind that I had friends. It was weird. Like at this time, I had like a terrible group of friends, and I had a good group of friends. And the good group of friends, we had like our own like arcade at this time. It was called like it was called the Spot. Like they had like their own like fucking like little like a business going on. So, and I would always like we would always be hanging out, and we would like help each other like build that. And so I knew that my friends had a business. So I knew that I'm like, okay, maybe I should hang out with like these people more and hang out with less. Like I hung out with these people less, and I hung out with these people more.
Yeah.
So I was hanging out, with the people, with the group of my friends that were doing better things.
Sure.
So I have a brand new mindset right now. I fucking cut off these other people, and fast forward later, I went to them. They helped me build the first business, Heart of Music Entertainment. That they helped me build that. I had, it's fucking crazy. Like I proposed like an idea to them, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna start this fucking label. Like, yo, like I knew this person in college, and he was doing all this shit. Like I know I can do that, and I'm gonna do it better. So I wrote this long ass business plan.
Nice.
I sat in my house, bro. I tell you what, for 2 weeks, I want everyone to listen to this. For fucking 2 weeks, I stayed up for 2 weeks on this goddamn business plan.
Nice.
In 2017, I learned the goddamn music business. I didn't know shit about social media. I didn't know shit about record labels. I didn't know how brand. I didn't know about marketing. I didn't know shit about anything. But all I knew was that this guy in college, that he had his own little thing going on. I knew I could do that better.
Yeah.
So I learned. I like for hours on YouTube how to learn record labels work. How does social media work? I fucking learned it all in 2 weeks. Proposed my plan to them, and they helped me start it. And so from there, fast forward 3 years, and you know what? We've had our ups, downs, and lefts and rights. I've worked with artists, failed with a bunch of people. You know, I knew nothing,
Sure.
like nothing. And the question you asked,
local artists, or
yeah,
where did you reach?
Actually, like the first artist I fucking signed was I was in Maryland. The first artist I signed was in fucking Alabama. Like it was like the first artist I signed like lived like a quadrillion miles away from me. Like
Sure.
we signed it like the way I proposed it in the beginning was, you know, I was only one person.
Sure.
So I'm this guy and I'm gonna help artists, you know, just promote their. I would just charge artists to help promote their music and, you know, promote their brand. It was very
so what was
scrappy.
the agreement?
It was very scrappy. Like what he paid me, it was like, what was it? It was for like a year. I was gonna promote this guy for like a year for $350. Like that was like the deal. It was like for $350, you can hit up this Khendriix guy and he'll hook your career up. Like
sure.
That
you know, connecting with people like me, or, you know, different things like that, you know, within your network.
Yeah, like that was the business model, and I'm sure someone that has, you know, you went to school for business. I'm
sure, you know, and to speak on,
you can figure out that did not sustain well.
Absolutely, and in a lot of situations, you know, from mine, I started working with an artist. We did $200 to establish.
Yeah.
One of my services is something called creation, where I create a new email account, like let's say Khendriix Management. And then under Khendriix Management, I create a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then I also create a logo. And then I put that logo on all of the profiles and all of the covers, right? And then I also can do, you know, different audio and graphic visualizations or visualizations. But no, and I've had that same situation where, you know, someone pays me, you know, $200, and then it would be like $100 per month to kind of, you know, build up that content. Because sure, I could make you a profile, but unless you have consistent content, I could be following a ton of people, but if the audience has nothing to interact with, they're not going to have anything to interact with. And you know, so, and they wouldn't pay the principal, right? They would pay, you know, the $200 or the $100 maintenance, but they never paid like the principal. So then I was like, hey, you know, I got to shut down the pages, because it's like, you know, you didn't pay for the creation of the pages, you know, or that initial, because you know how it is. That $400 isn't for the whole year. That's for the first, you know, 48 hours that you kind of have to put in all the, you know, actual development.
Yeah, that was the thing. That $350, that was like the whole year.
Yeah.
Like that was it. That was a one-time pay. Oh, okay, you just give me that, and I'm gonna help you for the whole entire year.
Yeah.
And that's definitely not that's not even the model anymore. And from what Heart of Music Entertainment was back then to what it is now is a completely different thing. And this is just one of the points that I'm trying to put into people. Like you're gonna, like how you said, you have to fall in love with the failure. Like there's so many. I've reconstructed Heart of Music Entertainment like over 10 times.
Yeah.
Like we've built with people, we failed, we built with people, and we're still in, you know, the branding and the awareness side right now. But to finish that story, like it all came from having that life-changing moment, knowing that you have something in your head and you know where you want to go, and it's all about finding the people that help you take it to that next level, and getting those fucking parasites out of the vision, because they're going to mess it up.
Sure.
And if I never cut off those people that I'm not in contact with anymore, if I never got rid of those people, and actually, you know what? Maybe it was a good thing. Maybe it was a good thing, because I was never with them. I would never been in that situation.
Exactly.
And that would never happen. Yeah. So everything happens for a reason.
And also keep in mind, like something that I always like saying is, I intentionally let people take advantage of me as quickly as possible, so then I can cut them out quicker. Because at the end of the day, I don't mind if you take advantage of me, but I don't want you to take advantage of my net worth, right?
Yeah.
Because then not only am I losing, you know, not only am I losing this parasite, but I'm also losing the business that the parasite infected. And I think, you know, to speak candidly, because I didn't sign a non-disclosure agreement. And after the podcast, we'll kind of go more into depth about college beats, but and I really felt like I was doing 100% of the groundwork developing relationships, like whether or not it was meeting with Post Malone or getting the opportunity to have Takashi 69 for an event as well. And every
Dope.
step of the way, my partner dropped the ball, and
Yeah.
it hurt the
I've been there.
relationships that I had with those big connections, right?
Yeah.
And those big connections offered me to leave College Beats, right? But the reason why I didn't do that is so I can say today that I had an agreement with College Beats and I was loyal to it, and that's what I want my reputation to be. Even though I shouldn't have been loyal to College Beats, I was, because that's the type of man that I am. That when I have an agreement with someone, and I think at the same time, at least locally, talk a little bit more locally for you, that I'm really enjoying talking to people outside of my area. That it gets really sticky when you're local because it's all about favors and everybody expecting everything for nothing. Like, how have you experienced that?
I picked that out very early. That was when in that 2-week period when I was learning this shit and when it finally launched. And like you said, I picked that out very early. You have to keep in mind, I'm 18, 19 years old at this time.
Yeah, I'm 25 now.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm 22 right now.
And I probably got into it around 22 myself.
Yeah.
Maybe in 2017 is when I got into the market, like 2016. 2017 is when I met Post Malone.
That's what's up, man. But at this time, I have no connections. I don't know any DJs. I don't know any promoters. I don't know anyone. So I was kind of, I had to go out. I had to learn, and I just had to figure out how it all worked.
Yeah.
And when I was figuring out was, I was a little smart. I knew I couldn't. Some people in my area they had a little stuff going on, but I knew I couldn't. Just come out and beat them. So I started it's strategic how I did it. I kind of like feathered my way like inside, because the way the people I was targeting and just the way I was branding it, because I was smart, because I knew that if I branded this as, oh, this is the biggest thing ever and everyone's going to want to do this, that's going to be the complete opposite, because people are just going to shut me out. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what I did was I developed very strategically relationships with people that were kind of already running the area. Like I was getting cool with those people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like I would get cool with the DJ. I signed like one of the best DJs like in our town. Like I saw like that came. Like everything was so strategic how it happened. I partnered with Yalee. That's one of our partners and one of the artists that we work with. Yalee. Partnered with them for that was the first partnership we made. So I partnered with people that kind of ran the area. I signed this DJ that knew people that would get our music played. I worked with artists that kind of
and this is all local.
Took over the area. Yeah, this is all local, and that's kind of how I started to build the name out, because then I would also take pictures with them. I would share that.
Yeah, so tell me about that, because that's how I made my gains locally, was with a camera, because anybody's gonna let you in the front door with a camera.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's facts. I've been the cameraman for some of my events too.
Okay.
Like crazy.
What kind of camera do you have?
I don't have a camera now. Like this was way back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have friends that would have cameras.
Well, and I think that's our relationship right now that I definitely want to talk to you more about. That due to the fact that I'm not exclusively working with College Beats now, I am looking for other I don't know if it would be considered licensing agreements, or something where I can even create like in-house content with different artists, and then under the branding of a different parent company, right? That, like you said, you don't really have a camera, so the different opportunities as far as someone who's not in the area, But it is pretty hard right now, with the virus as far as shooting things in person. How do you feel about that? Like, how has the virus affected your business?
Well, the virus. I mean, well, we usually have like monthly or quarterly like meetings with the artists, that we'll work with,
Yeah.
and we'll get together, strategize. But for the label, that kind of pushed it back. We really can't, meet in person.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of messed things up, and getting to the studio to record music. One of my artists right now, and that's getting, that kind of pushed a lot of stuff back.
Yeah.
For the label, not much, but for aside, the agency, the other one I mentioned, the agency I run, the social media, that kind of affected. I lost a good portion of clients. I lost one client that had we were helping him with this website. He was a travel agency, and you can imagine that whole thing just
imploded,
collapsed. Yeah, so it mostly affected the agency, but it affected it negatively and it affected it positively, because as much as clients we lost, started to pick some up within the last month, and some are still with us today. But as far as like a big bulldozer, it hasn't really affected that much.
Cool.
What we've been doing is because from our standpoint, and because a lot of people, a lot of internet gurus, a lot of marketers, a lot of people in the industry, they use this time where who the heck is this?
What's up?
Someone's calling me right now. I don't know who the hell it is.
Okay. Do you want me to pause the recording and call you back?
We're good. I'm good. Yeah. But they've been using this time to monetize people's fears right now.
Yeah.
Because everyone's scared. Everyone's on defense. Everyone thinks that, everyone's fucking scared right now. And I can't tell you how many, ads I've seen on Instagram, like, oh, I just closed for some fucking some real estate guru or something. Oh, I just closed 10 houses from a pandemic. You want to learn how I did this? Swipe up. Like, people are just bullshitting right now because they know that people are hungry for money and they'll do anything. We're desperate, and people are monetizing off of that fear.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've done, I've been hitting up, people that we work with. I'm saying, yeah, is everything all right? Like, I know a lot is going on. I've been posting content, calling out these douchebags that make content like that.
Yeah.
And really trying to bring the humanity back. And so that's one of the things that I think I've done differently. And I'm not saying that I deserve a cookie, because I'm not trying to rip people off during a pandemic.
Well, yeah, I mean, doesn't that suck that today we've got to apologize for treating people how we want to be treated?
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. That it's like, that should be the bare minimum.
It really should.
The step 2 is like being generous.
Right.
That it's like, you don't even really have to be genuine. It's a feeling, and I think that's why we connected too. And we hadn't even talked, but just through our content, I felt like, we had the same. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I seen you interview artists that I kind of check out. Oh, Yalee. I don't know how to say that guy's name.
Yeah.
Yalee. Yeah. I seen you interview him.
Yeah.
And so once I seen that you interview him, and not because because we know like real people can recognize real people. So when I seen that you interview him, someone that's not like, he's not like a fucking crazy big artist. I seen that, okay, he's giving these underdogs a chance. So I already knew that if you're willing to give underdogs a chance, that I already know that you're not going after, you're not trying to get Elon Musk on your podcast. I mean, you wouldn't mind it, but you're in this for them, not doing it for you.
Sure.
So that's what resonated. That's why I resonated on. Just by that.
And I think he had a song with Too Rich Benji, and Too Rich Benji was a local artist that I had known, and so I didn't know him personally, but he lived up in Dayton, and he was in town, and that was a nice little bit of content, and for sure. Had you been following him before?
Yeah, I have been.
Because you were following him before you saw me, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because, to be honest, Yalee was probably one of the bigger artists that I had interviewed that although we did visit Post Malone for a minute, and we still worked with radio station. So I guess maybe I was in the industry. What am I talking about? Like, I'm trying to appear humble because at the same point, I wanted to create a Breakfast Club type of style. Like, did you see the Freestyle Friday videos?
From you?
Yeah.
I have not.
Okay. Because I'll send them over, but we did about 30 episodes for 101.1 The Wiz, which was a local radio station out here.
So what's up?
And that was one of the ways that I ended up getting connected, and at least locally. But at a certain point, radio stations, I don't know how many you've dealt with, but radio stations have turned into non-profits. DJs really don't make much themselves, and they don't have really any budgets for anything.
The thing with the radio is, it drives me nuts, and this is just another reason why I'm staying low. I'm just ready to I can build this brand and build myself up where I can start speaking the goddamn truth. And what you just said is very true. And a lot like the radio, it's not what it used to be. I'll just say that. And how social media plays a big part in that. It's when a lot of artists think that when you go on the radio, that's like you're like a star or something, and that's definitely not true. And what the radio is now, basically, if you break it down, you have to record on social media and tell social media that you were on the radio for that to matter.
Yeah, and the weirdest part too is once the, let's say, B class artist or the C class artist that used to be thirsty for the radio, the moment that they actually have a song, because we have an artist in this city that, and maybe I don't want to throw out names, but so he was on a major movie soundtrack, okay? And I offered him the opportunity to be on Freestyle Friday, right? But he wasn't interested in, fucking with the radio station, right?
Yeah.
And it's like,
they have to pay attention to where they have to pay attention to where only where
they don't pay attention to you until you're already over them. But that's just how it works, because why would the radio station spend time on you if you weren't bigger than them? Like, that's the whole purpose of media. And I think people often mischaracterize ego. That ego is just the entrepreneur's self-promotion. That, guess what? If you work at Kroger's and your job is to bag groceries, guess what? You're going to be bagging groceries. If you're an entrepreneur, your job is to self-promote. That is your only job, right? And that often gets mischaracterized as ego.
Hello?
Sounds like the call dropped.
Yeah, the government not trying to have us have this conversation, bro.
Yeah. It's coming down on us. But what I was saying is that I totally forgot what I was talking about.
You said the ego is entrepreneurs.
Yeah, like that. I think people mischaracterize ego. That I belong to a German cultural society. I did German folk dancing my entire life. Traveled to Europe. And this is another big part that I'll talk to you about as far as, because music business-wise, the best way to make money is live events. And obviously now with the virus, that's a little bit different. But this was my whole plan, and how I got to Post Malone was that my German club, we own about 16 properties throughout the United States, and we're German, so we've got several soccer fields on each property, right? And we also hold Oktoberfest, where we make, good amounts of money, with several thousand people at our venue, right? And it's a family. It's, like I said, 16 locations around the United States.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Including Cincinnati, Cleveland, Akron, Mansfield. There's 2 in Chicago.
No, another Maryland?
Possibly. there's a Detroit club.
Put one in Maryland, man. We need something to do.
Well, like I said, there's 16 of them, so we can check it later. I don't have the full list. It's been a few years since I've danced. That since I started focusing on college beats, dance practice was twice a week, and it's about 45 minutes away, because I live in the country somewhat. My grandfather came over as an immigrant. My grandmother came over as an immigrant, and from Germany. They were displaced people in Austria, Hungary, Romania.
Okay.
And so this is just it's called Donauschwaben. We are the Danube Schwabians. So it's kind of like there's a river called the Donau River. And the French and German border around Lorraine or something like that. It's like half French, half German, depending on the war. And, but I digress. As far as where I'm going with the music business is, guess what? We've got 16 venues with soccer fields. We could set up a stage in the soccer field, and have live events, right? And since since it's my family, the cost of renting out the property is much more optimal. And then it could also be a fundraiser for the youth group, because once a year we send about 40 kids to Europe because we have like 30 clubs over in Europe. We've also got clubs in South America, Argentina, some pretty dope spots. So my point is with this entertainment company that we're developing, to have what it was going to be was, let's say, College Beats Fest in the Midwest, right? Or College Beats Fest in the Northeast, or, whatever brand it would be under. Obviously now, since I've left College Beats, that's no longer an option. But as well as I do, the only real money in the music business is live events, correct?
Well, I mean, it all depends on what stage you're at. Like there's live events, there's streaming. There's brand deals.
Yeah.
There's
But wouldn't you agree, like quick hard cash live events is how the industry stays alive? I'm talking about the major industry.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously now with this virus, that's taken off the table. So that really throws them on a curveball a little bit.
Yeah, but they've definitely found a way to maneuver around that. I don't know. I think it was Atlantic or something, but
yeah, tell me about what you know.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it was Atlantic. They had some type of thing. I'm not sure what it was, but a lot of artists they did what you said. They had live events that was outside their house and they were streaming it.
Oh yeah,
and
like
it did pretty good.
Like in Dayton with Dave Chappelle.
I think so, but I'm not too sure that.
Yeah, he has like a little farm that he has a stage, and it's all social distanced, and because that's what I honestly want to do with my green screen. I want to do a Saturday Night Live type of atmosphere. Like, how on Saturday Night Live they have that set that they always have whatever band comes on, like that sort of format. Like that's how I see my studio, as rather than like, let's say, a competition where there's judges, more or less, hey, like let's just feature 4 artists live but pre-recorded, and then you can use software like OBS, so then I can stream the footage as if it's live, right? That you can edit something and then stream a file, but then to everybody else it looks live, right? All right, man. This is the third drop. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, so before the NSA takes us all the way down, let me ask you, where can people find you?
Can find me?
Yeah.
You can find me on social media at Khendriix, Khendriix. That's for basically everything.
Great. And I want to ask everyone that if you enjoyed this content, please subscribe. I'll also list all of his links down in the description. What I also want to ask you is, what are your short and long term goals? Like, we talked a lot about your inspiration, your history, how you got to this point. Now let's talk more, forward facing. What are your plans for the next 2 weeks? And what are your plans for the next, 6 months to a year?
Actually, I don't set goals at all.
Mm. So you made that business plan. Have you made another business plan since you made that one?
Oh yeah, I made plenty, but that was years ago.
Sure.
Like I said, I've been constantly evolving, and just one of the things that, I make that less of like a mic drop. Oh, set goals. I'll try to like explain that. Over the course of time, I just came to the realization that it's all about yourself. I'm not saying that goals are dumb or you shouldn't set them, but just for me, for someone like me that can't set their eyes on one goddamn thing longer than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just the idea of setting goals were just, I'm not into checking. I'm not into checking the progress. I'm not in it for constantly stepping on the scale and seeing if I got or looking in the mirror and constantly seeing if I got skinny.
No, that's a unique perspective.
Checking the numbers and constantly seeing if we're growing or looking at my followers like some people that say, "Oh shit, I see Big Shot." You know, like now I'm like, I don't care about any of that. I'm in this for the game because I love doing it, and I don't set goals at all because I only have one goal, and that's to be the best version of myself 24/7. So 365. That's it.
Yep. 24/7, 365.
26/9.
Oh, nice. All right. So, do you have any other questions for me?
No.
Do you have anything else on your mind?
I appreciate you for having me on.
Absolutely. And I would love to do this again,
Oh, hell yeah, man.
Yeah. That I've attempted to ask Keon, my friend, to do a more consistent show with me, but that's what I think is another bit of content that I need to create. I need to find a co-host of a sort to create some sort of separate show that's more consistent. I don't know whether or not it's talking about current events or what we're looking at. I really don't want to get political, but that's as far as what I'm looking forward to. Some bit of consistency, because that's the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur. Your schedule is so flexible. It's hard to like nail down a schedule.
Yeah, it happens every single day.
Yep. Well, I also want to thank you for coming on. Within the next day or so, I will go ahead and mix it down and add the noise reducer for the phone. That's the most challenging part, is that everybody's phone is different. And a lot of people have suggested Skype or other means of doing it. And you know what? I'm just trying to do it. For all these years, I've been worrying so much about quality, right? And for me, sure, I still have a nice mic. I have a mixer. I mix everything down. It's no problem. But I cannot express to you how much easier it is to have an audio only podcast, dude. It is so easy, to produce it and process it, and it's a quick turnaround, and really the only thing that I'm kind of dealing with is the schedule, that I've been uploading them every Monday, but I'm probably doing about 3 to 4 podcasts a week, right? At this rate. So you're number 11-ish, 10 or 11. So the only challenge of that is that, we're on episode 4 this past week, and it's going to take, 4 or 5 weeks until your episode drops. So that's the only challenge that I'm having right now, is I don't know if I should upload them more frequently, because it's going to be kind of awkward if you're like, "Hey, Tony, I really appreciate you having me on the podcast. When is it going to come out?" And then in a month, I'm going to have to tell them, "Oh, well, it's going to be in 4 months." You know, that isn't that a little bit ridiculous?
That's crazy.
Like, what's your opinion on that? Because if I have like 10 or 12 or 20 episodes, that's 20 weeks worth of content.
Oh, I mean, I think besides dropping them all at once, I think you should probably just crunch them down into small. Maybe try to do like smaller pieces of content, I guess, like and kind of feed those out, and then for the long one, kind of like I guess don't because it's gonna take a long time, editing the whole entire thing. So I'd suggest you because sometimes I do long form content, sometimes I do small form, and what I do is I crunch it down. So maybe just instead of doing the whole thing, you probably just put like a little snippet of it on Instagram or Twitter, and then kind of feed it to the people. Like that's all about how you want to distribute it, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And I think I've just been trying to be more laid back with the content. That like you said, it's hard to plan 2 weeks ahead of time. Where with college
Yeah.
beats, that's all I was thinking about was turnaround, turnaround, turnaround. And that's the saddest part about all the college beats footage is I would edit stuff so quickly. I never even like named any of the files or any of the folders. So most of the everything is like unorganized. Being in a
Sure.
hurry, that I would go out to a venue and bring my laptop and basically, Wi-Fi over the files, edited in Lightroom, and within 2 minutes or under a minute, I could literally be airdropping an artist or airdropping a DJ the file that I just took. Like that's my type of
That's the hustle, man.
my type of turnaround. Literally like a photo a minute.
Yeah, man.
Throw it into Lightroom, do the presets and stuff. But yeah, this was good, man. We can wrap it up.
Thank you, man.
So where can people find you again?
Social media, just Khendriix, Khendriix on literally everything.
Great. And I want to ask everybody again that if you haven't, please subscribe. I will also be leaving all of the links down in the description box below. And as always, this was Anthony Marshall, and we'll see you.